Hi, I'm with Derek. In the beginning of this year, 2025, I bought 5 acres of land in the middle of nowhere because I've always run the off-grid homestead, even though I've only ever lived in a city. So here's my journey. So for years and years before I even took the baby steps I'm taking now towards my homestead journey, I did research. Like for 2 or 3 years, um, anything with information on the homestead, I was looking into from YouTube videos, books, articles, just anything. I wanted to learn as much as possible just to make sure that this is what I wanted to do. And one thing that was really interesting for me was self sufficiency. And one way to be self sufficient is food preservation. And food preservation can look like many things. Like the list just goes on and on. But the easiest to start out with seems to be canning, which is what I did today. So you guys are going to see me can for the first time ever. Because I chose the water bath canning instead of pressure canning just because it seemed simpler, I had to first sterilize my jars. Now this can be done multiple ways. Some people use a dishwasher because they get to temperatures for long enough to sterilize, but what I did was add my jars and lids to boiling water for 15 minutes, and that got it prepared for the next step. As my jars were sterilizing, I washed my vegetables really thoroughly just to make sure that, again, that there's no bacteria being added to that jar. So while those jars are still sterilizing, I chopped my vegetables up into my desired shapes, and I had a bowl of cold water to the side for the vegetables just to sit in as I was chopping, and I made sure to save the food scraps for the compost bin. To make my pickle brine, I added equal parts water and vinegar to a bowl and brought that to a boil, and then I added sugar and salt to that brine. Because most of these ingredients are preservatives, this brine also works for a quick pickle recipe. So now that my jars are done sterilizing, I'm gonna pack the jars with pickles, carrots. I have some garlic clove in there and peppercorn, I think that's what they're called. And I'm gonna fill it up to about 1/4 of an inch at the top with the brine that I made earlier, and then I'm going to process that for 15 minutes on a boil, ensuring that the lids are completely submerged in the water. Take my mind and run with you shine so bright. Here I'm going to take a paper towel with white vinegar on it and just wipe the rim of the jar just to make sure that there's no bacteria on that rim. This is to ensure that your pickles stay fresh inside the jar. Here I'm going in with a plastic spoon because I read to not use metal for this, and I'm just making sure that there's no bubbles on the side. Again, this is to make sure that the pickles stay fresh inside the jar. And then I'm gonna screw that lid on about fingertip tight, and then a little bit of cleanup, and then we're on to the next jar. I did that about 3 more times, and then I put them into a pot of boiling water, and I just made sure that the tops were submerged. So the canning is done. I'm just gonna go over like what I've learned from the first time ever canning and what I do differently next time. So I have 4 jars of pickles and carrots that I canned myself. Right off the bat, I did not add enough headspace to this jar, which is just like the amount of air that I added too much headspace. Opposite, which is the amount of air which is at the top of the jar. Now this is a problem because um if there's too much air in this jar, it can cause things to spoil. But it did seal. It like oops. It sealed completely. In fact, all 4 jars sealed completely, which I'm really happy about, considering it was like first time. Like it's not super hard to do, but I it could have been messed up, and like no glass exploded, thank God, which was also a possibility. So yeah, not enough headspace on this one. So which is what that means is I'm probably just gonna like open this one sooner so that the stuff inside doesn't rot. And I've just like been keeping it in the refrigerator, which is probably an extra step that I don't need to do. But I don't want botulism. So yeah. Um, and the rest of them like look great. This one has like ton of red pepper flakes in it. I really like spice, but I feel like this is gonna be a ton because I tried a simple pickle recipe with the rest of the pickles and I added way less pepper flakes and this one was still very spicy. So yeah, there's garlic and just like different shapes of pickles in here, and I'm gonna open these jars in about a month or two and see if they taste like pickles. Overall, I'm very happy with it. Um, yeah, so that's it.